Kaga province is experiencing severe storms and heavy rain. King Daigo recalls an event that happened a few months earlier. He goes to the Hall of Hell, where a priest exhorts him to follow the path of Buddha because the path of evil leads to hell. But Daigo claims that because of famines and diseases, they are already in hell. The priest forewarns him that he will be held accountable. The 12 demons and Daigo agree to an agreement. He will offer them something in exchange for keeping his land safe. A son is born to Daigo's wife, but he is born without any limbs, eyes, or even skin. When he strikes, a bolt of lightning strikes Daigo's home, blowing away the idol that was inside. Daigo understands that in exchange for the protection of his property, demons have abducted his son. Daigo commands the elderly woman to send his son away to another country. She places the infant in a boat and sails off. Following that, Daigo's nation starts to prosper. After 16 years, a man named Jukai is tending to the wounded. A small boy by the name of Dororo is selling some priceless items and is terrified to see the man because he has stolen the items from him. The youngster runs away as the man attempts to beat him. Dororo visits a canal where a man severely beats Dororo. In the meantime, a water monster appears and devours the man. The lad with the peculiar mask saves Dororo from the monster. Dororo inquires as to why he is donning a mask. As the boy's mask falls off, Dororo sees his skinless face, which is also missing his eyes and nose. A man is being treated by Jukai, who is shocked to see a bizarre mask covering his face. The boy in the mask and Dororo are strolling. Dororo is speaking to him, but he doesn't respond and carries on walking. The boy can see and observe Dororo. Dororo prepares the fish over the fire after the boy catches some. The youngster is so weird, says Dororo, but he has the potential to become wealthy. While Hakamaru, the mask-wearing boy, is still perched on a rock, Dororo sleeps on the ground. Jukai was walking to the injured while toting a box on his back. When Dororo wakes up from his nap, he speaks to himself before introducing himself to Hakamaru. He proposes visiting the neighboring village, defending the locals from the monster and collecting money from the villagers. When they get to the village, Dororo convinces the locals to let them dwell there so they can slay the monster, because Hakamaru can fight it. A large-faced creature approaches at night while ringing the bell in his hand. Hakamaru is informed by Dororo, but he does not reply. They learn in the morning that Lady Bandai, the village chief, wants to visit them. She is unable to walk, so they travel to meet her. Hakamaru pulls out his sword to strike Lady Bandai as soon as they enter her room, but the guards stop him and toss him and Dororo outside. In the prison, they meet a priest who claims to have an inner eye that allows them to see things that others cannot. The lights turn off in their odd cacophony. Hakamaru pulls his sword out and departs. He is followed by the priest and Dororo. On her bed, Lady Bandai is visible to them. She assaults them in an instant, after changing into a large monster. A villager helps her escape as Hakamaru rushes to attack her. She is killed by Hakamaru when he pursues her. The priest informs Dororo that Hakamaru cannot see or hear, but can only perceive the hues of good and evil souls. He observes that good spirits are white, whereas evil souls are red. Hakamaru prints his name on the dirt, after Dororo asks him for it once more. While discussing the defense of his country with one of his soldiers, Diego can see the entrance to the Hall of Hell. As a blue light enters the Hall of Hell, Hakamaru screams in agony and slumps to his knees. War has devastated the earth, and the soil of the earth has drained the blood. There is agony and suffering everywhere. People are slaughtered brutally. Dr. Jukai implants new organs in people, and a little boy named Kaname assists him. One day, a little boy is passing by when he sees a child crying in pain because his arm has been cut. The assistant of Jukai, Kaname, brings the boy to Jukai and gives him treatment. One day, Jukai tells him that he fought in the Battle of the Clan. Kaname takes out a sword to kill Jukai because he had killed Kaname's father in the war. Jukai tells Kaname to give him a chance to fulfill his promise once he has taken it. Jukai remembers the day when he found a strange child in a boat who had no eyes, nose, or skin. His eyes filled with pity at seeing that unfortunate and helpless creature. He took him home. He implanted many body parts that he did not have. After 1 year, Daigo was blessed with another son. He was very happy because his second son was physically fit and healthy. Jukai brought up the boy he found in the boat. He also taught him his name, which is Hakamaru. Jukai taught him many skills of self-defense, and he became a brave warrior. He had killed many monsters. Jukai only wished to see him strong and brave. One day, Jukai saw Hakamaru's right leg begin to grow very fast after killing a monster. He sent him away by advising him to keep badges with him because that badge would help him to recognize his parents. When Dororo and Hakamaru arrive at the entrance to the Hall of Hell, it is raining and a boy is waiting there. While they are conversing, a guy arrives who has been fatally injured, and the youngster tells them about his brother who has lost the fight. He collapses and dies as Hakamaru flees. They observe a man brandishing a sword and numerous dead victims covered in blood. He is recognized by the youngster as his missing sibling. The man claims that this blade is cursed, bloodthirsty, and under the control of the person it is holding. He attempts to kill Hyakkimaru as well, but fails. Hyakkimaru is battling when his leg is broken. The sword-wielding man also tumbles off a hill. When Dororo attempts to use the sword, it takes control of him. Although Hyakkimaru is pursuing him and urging him to hurl the blade, Dororo is unable to do so. His brother discovers the missing individual and questions him about his background. He recalls how the sword was stored for a long time. He was instructed to hold this blade by the man he was working for. He murdered a lot of innocent individuals. His brother requests that he stay at home with him, but when he assaults Hyakkimaru with the thirsty sword once again, Hyakkimaru kills him. Following the death of the swordsman, Hyakkimaru regains his hearing. The noises annoy him, and he becomes disturbed. Daigo, who is seated in the Hall of Hell, states that he is unable to locate the woman or child to whom he gave his son. He is shocked to learn that his son, whom he had assumed was dead, is still alive, because he is not accustomed to these sounds. Hyakkimaru gets tired of hearing them all. He runs into a bird monster once more, but Hyakkimaru is startled by the noises, so the priest arrives and dispatches the monster bird. The priest informs Dororo that Hyakkimaru suffers temporary weakness as a result of his wounds or the restoration of his senses. The next morning, they hear a girl's lovely voice. After pursuing the voice, Hyakkimaru finally finds the girl. When she touches Hyakkimaru, she detects that he is feverish. The girl known as Mio leads them to her house, where she lives with several kids who have lost a lot of body parts. They were all left orphaned by their deceased parents during the war. They are all enjoying their time with Mio and helping out around the house. Hyakkimaru is treated by Mio. The priest leaves the church to look for a place to live. The servant is being taught about the battle by Daigo. The priest finds a place to live after Hyakkimaru asks Mio to sing a song, but the monster that resides there is a problem. After a bloody battle, Hyakkimaru and the priest arrive at the location to kill the demon. He is attacked by a demon and loses his leg. After eliminating the demon, he speaks again. This time, after slaying the demon, he yells, and Dororo, who is watching this, is shocked to hear Hyakkimaru's voice. Meo is also pleased to know that Hyakkimaru can hear and speak. While losing a limb, Hyakkimaru retains his voice. He is looked after by Mio at her home. Daigo's younger son begs his father to let him join the fight, but he refuses. He thinks his parents are trying to keep something from him. He believes they are aware of a secret. He also recalls the moment when she looked after him. He becomes upset when his father won't let him join the army. His temper is reduced by her mother. Hyakkimaru attempts to balance himself on one leg but fails. Mio sings a song for him. Dororo is informed by the priest that Hyakkimaru possesses some demon flames. When Hyakkimaru hears the music, he or she feels comfortable. The army of Daigo is discussing the conflict and preparing for an unannounced surprise assault. Hyakkimaru receives dinner from Dororo. Mio counsels Dororo to stop Hyakkimaru from engaging in combat, but the man proceeds to slay a monster and reclaim his leg. When Hyakkimaru arrives, Mio is fighting with the attackers like a monster, as many children are killed in the attack on her home by some warriors. While singing the same tune, Mio passes away. While traveling with Hyakkimaru, Dororo is trying to make Hyakkimaru laugh when he overhears some noises. Meanwhile, a large rock falls on him, but he dodges it by turning around. He notices a spider when he glances up. A man tumbles as Hyakkimaru climbs up to kill the spider. In pursuit of binding Hyakkimaru, the spider flees. Then they come across a village that is well guarded nearby. They are informed that their mission is to defend the village against kidnappers. On his way home, Yajiro encounters a sick girl and takes her there. After feeding her, he leaves for work. She refuses to tell him her name, so he gives her the name Ohaji. She is progressively losing strength. Yajiro guarantees to be by her side. Every evening, one man from the village vanishes. Every day, Hyakkimaru and Dororo search for monsters without success. When they encounter Dororo and Hyakkimaru, Yajiro is escorting Ohaji out of the village. Dororo assaults them after saying Ohaji monster. She escapes to the mountains with Yajiro. Yajiro aids her in escape, but Ohaji begs him to accompany her, and he consents. When the locals arrive, they kill Yajiro. While Hyakkimaru approaches and engages in combat with her, Ohaji transforms into a spider and attacks them. She promises Yajiro that she won't let him pass away. Yajiro is taken by her, and Hyakkimaru departs. It makes Dororo happy to see Hyakkimaru grinning. The sky releases a downpour of ash known as Nokusaregumo, or a deserted cloud. An elderly guy advises getting the monster a bride. When bringing the bride home, Hyakkimaru and Dororo pass by. They witness a boy by the name of Saru assaulting the individuals bringing the bride since she is his sister. Dororo tries to stop him while being confused about the situation. He is shocked when the man tells him the tale. In exchange for payment to save his sister, he offers their assistance. He is given some gold by Saru. When the monster arrives, everything is pitch black and Hyakkimaru is unable to see anything as they proceed to save the bride. The monster appears, devours the bride, and then leaves. They are informed by Saru that the bride is not his actual sister, but rather a former ally. Saru and Dororo pledge to slay the beast. Because they were both aware that the monster could not see in the light, they both ignited the fire before the creature. Hyakkimaru slays monsters as soon as they appear in the light. Saru discovers his sister is still alive. Hyakkimaru regains his nose after slaying the monster. Hyakkimaru takes a feverish Dororo to a temple, where he tells a nun his tale of being abandoned by his parents after they were killed in battle. He fled for several days with his parents in an attempt to save them, but one day one of the men killed his father, after which he fled with his mother. Both of them strolled past dead bodies and pools of blood. They both had to hide since brigands were prowling around looking for victims. They learned that Sumari was feeding people one day, so they both went to see her. Mother Dororo noticed Itachi there. They put a hot dinner in her hands that burned them, because she didn't have a bowl to take it in. She passed away from malnutrition some time ago. The nun offers prayers for them both. Diego is told by a man that a boy without eyes or a nose has been spotted somewhere. Diego is astounded to hear these words, and his son is astounded as well. A water monster is eating while a hurt human swims in the water. When told that the harvest will suffer from a lack of rain and the threat of an attack from the nearby community, Diego is lost in thought. When he returns to the Hall of Hell, he learns that his child is still alive. Tahamaru makes an effort to learn his parents' secret, but is unsuccessful. He asked his father about the child, but he withheld any information. When Tahamaru and his men arrive, they find a community where everyone is terrified of a water monster. Tahoma goes to the monster to slay it. Only the crab monster can be harmed by them. They resolve to destroy the monster on Earth after devising a new method to drain the water from neighboring lakes. They assault the monster, but Hyakkimaru can help them defeat it. Tahomaru expresses gratitude to Hyakkimaru for saving them and requests his name. The mention of his name surprises him. Tahomaru is asked about Daigo's land by Dororo. They travel there and explore the marketplace. They also attend a performance where they run into a priest. They overheard several folks discussing the village's banman curse. Daigo is told about Hyakkimaru by the Tahoma guards as his wife watches. When she hears this, she begins to cry. The settlement of Daigo is surrounded by a large wall, and anyone attempting to pass it is instantly killed. They learn from a youngster that there once was a village there, but Asakura overcame it. He longs to return home. Dororo pledges to support him. The wife of Daigo begs for the life of her child, but Daigo refuses. While Daigo gets there, Hyakkimaru engages in combat with the fox monster. Tahomaru learns about the demon curse, and the child without a nose, eyes, or skin from a crazy woman. Daigo gives the order to kill Hyakkimaru, but he runs away. When Dororo tries to escape from prison, he learns that Hyakkimaru is a member of the Daigo family. Tahomaru inquires about the demon child and claims that sacrificing his child for the benefit of others is immoral. When Hyakkimaru arrives at Daigo's home, Daigo gives the order to kill him, but he manages to escape. There is conflict between Asakura and Daigo. Tahomaru violates the agreement with the demons. When the fight starts, Tahomaru confronts Hyakkimaru, intending to kill him, but Daigo's wife arrives and begs for forgiveness from Hyakkimaru. She stabs her with a dagger, causing a large wall to collapse and bringing Asakura to the attack. Tsukurako discovers the young child's mother is still alive. The decapitated idol is taken up by the priest. At night, Hyakkimaru leaves the house. Dororo tries to stop him, but he keeps going. Dororo then advises him to visit a hot spring to relax. While Asakura is defeated and Diego's country is blessed with rain, Diego is concerned. A woman kills a man, then drags him to the fountain and throws him in. When Dororo visits the waterfall, he recognizes his mother-like figure there. Hyakkimaru and Dororo reside in the home of Okaka. A statue of the black-faced Buddha is also visible to Dororo. Okaka feeds them and brings them home. She tells them the Buddha's carver's tale. Although Dororo is delighted to devour the dinner, they both fall asleep shortly thereafter since Okaka injected chemicals into it. She used to bring people there and carve their faces, and she is the one who carved the Buddha statue. When Dororo wakes up, he discovers that Okaka and Hyakkimaru are gone. He travels to the waterfall where Hyakkimaru is being pulled by Okaka. While Hyakkimaru awakens and begins to attack Okaka and the Buddha statue while he is in the water. For this reason, Dororo forbids Okaka from trying to sever his face because she recognizes the value of people with faces. She becomes aware of this and rejects the Buddha statue that mercilessly killed her. Once more, Hyakkimaru strikes Buddha and obliterates it. When the priest arrives, Hyakkimaru and Dororo take a swim in a pool. Some kids come over to take baths as well and inquire about them. A map is visible on Dororo's back. When Dororo's father tries to tell his mother about the money he has stashed away, she interrupts him and threatens to squander it. She offers that he tattoo the partial map on both her and Dororo's backs. The map was mentioned to Dororo by his mother a few days before her death. The priest advises Dororo to spend his father's funds. When Dororo and Hyakkimaru step outside, a large monster captures them, but does not harm Dororo. They arrive at a burned-out temple. A ghost is visible to Hyakkimaru, but it vanishes. They receive an invitation to visit Sabame's house. When they get home, some girls are dancing while music is playing. After a filling supper, Sabame recounts to the group the legend of the temple ghost. The orphans were cared for by a nun who resided in the shrine. If the orphans didn't comply with her orders, she would beat them severely. They sold a few years afterwards. All of the children, including a nun, were burned when the temple caught fire one day. Dororo cries as he thinks of his mother. At night, a monster approaches, but Hakamaru harms it. Sabame is waiting for a woman while standing. He assured her that he would look out for her and their kids. Sabame's breakfast is appreciated by Dororo. They are permitted to remain with Sabame. Dororo visits the village, where people are working in the fields and ladies are carrying tea for them because he is intrigued by the temple. A rice cake is given to him by a young boy. When Dororo inquires about the burned-out temple, the elderly woman leaves without responding. In the woods, Hakamaru is chasing Sabame. In the jungle, Dororo discovers a farmhouse. He goes inside and finds a lot of rice stored there. Additionally, he notices a trapdoor and tries to enter it before someone forces him in and shuts the door. Monster caterpillars are attacking Dororo. However, a different monster saves him. And while looking at some child spirits, he learns that Sabame was the one who set fire to the temple. Hakamaru is informed by Sabame that his village is everything to him, and that he doesn't permit anyone to meddle with it. He explains to him that he guards demons, and they guard his property. He is attacked by Hakamaru, but a monster saves him. All of the rice is burned when the village catches fire. Hakamaru is informed by Dororo that peasants set fire to the temple. He harms himself while trying to kill a monster. The entire community burns to the ground. Tahomaru is practicing the battle, because Hakamaru's stabbing of his one eye has rendered him weak. While conversing with Dororo, Hakamaru turns to leave, but realizes that Dororo is not with him. When Dororo encounters some guys riding horseback, they inquire about the map they are carrying, which is only partially complete. Even if Dororo turns his back on them, they kidnap him. They show Dororo where the cash is kept. Itachi the man explains how his father obtained the funds. He also admitted that he had dug up Dororo's mother's grave to view the map that was attached to her back. They bring Dororo there and ask him to help them in exchange for money. A boy with one arm offers to help them as they search for boats to cross the river. He transports them with a shark-powered watercraft. When Dororo inquires about the boy's arm, it is revealed that he fed the sharks with it. Everyone in the room is astonished to hear this. He also says that he fed people, children, and perhaps the entire community to sharks. Then he commands his sharks to devour them, and 3 men from the boat are devoured. Itachi regrets all he did, but Dororo inspires them to do better. When Dororo dives into the sea to attract sharks, everyone else stabs the shark simultaneously to kill it. When he sees his shark dead, the shark boy arrives and is enraged, but Itachi and his men beat him and throw him away. After seeing the map and warming Dororo's back, they leave him there. The shark's young owner commands his shark to devour all the Itachi men. A ghoul assaults the humans as Jukai is tending to their injuries, but Hakamaru arrives and kills the ghoul. When Jukai learns that Hakamaru can speak and hear, she is both astonished and happy. Hakamaru wants to have his leg fixed. Jukai declines, though. He discusses Daigo with Jukai. Daigo's wife awakens, and he tells their son, but the boy leaves. Daigo warns his wife not to repeat the mistake. She recalls the kind goddess without a head. She claims that Hakamaru was saved because the goddess gave its head as a sacrifice. Due to the goddess's head being smashed and the inability to cope with demons, village prosperity has also ended. To keep an eye on Hakamaru, Daigo gives the command to slay a monster. Tahomaru sets out. Why did Hakamaru kill so many creatures? Jukai queries. He explains that he must also slay his family and several villagers, in addition to demons. He will be the only person on Earth. The lion monsters are slain by Hakamaru, and the rat monsters are slain by Tahomaru. Jukai refuses to reveal his name when Hakamaru asks him. Tahomaru gets his soldiers ready for battle. In a boat, Hakamaru searches for Dororo. The map is being followed by Itachi and his soldiers. Dororo is speaking to his mother while sitting in a cave. For this shark to eat Dororo, the shark boy tethered him to a tree. When it attacks Dororo, Hakamaru kills the shark while preserving him. After killing the shark, he regains the use of his leg. Itachi follows the map to the cave. A man kicks away as he moves his feet in the direction of the cave. When they notice something on the opposite bank of the river, it is the army of Tahomaru. Itachi and his soldiers are attacked by them. Try to conceal Dororo and Hakamaru. Tahomaru and Hakamaru come face to face and start fighting. Although Itachi pulls Dororo away to flee, he refuses to abandon Hakamaru. They notice a row of statues. Itachi claims that this location is on the map, and that he is attempting to locate the riches that Tahomaru's soldiers destroyed. Before passing away, he asks Dororo to let him view the wealth once, and she agrees. The shark boy arrives and starts blasting everyone. While he is carrying Itachi, they all hardly stand a chance against flying pebbles. Tahamoru's guard also perishes. When Itachi and Dororo tumble into a ditch, they discover the wealth and see Itachi's passing away as he closes his eyes. When Hyakkimaru arrives, he tells Dororo to go. According to Dororo, he is unsure about how to use this prize. The struggle was won by both of them, and they continued to row until dusk. When they spot a black horse, Dororo and Hyakkimaru are too exhausted to continue walking. Seeing the horse makes them joyful. When they arrive in a village, they seek out Munitsuna, an artisan who creates swords. They decide to visit the man after hearing about him from another man. Swords are given to Okawa, a girl, as she answers the door. She becomes enraged when Hyakkimaru touches her face. After bringing them inside, she informs her father about them. She says that if her father forges the sword, the youngster might propose to her. Before forging the swords, they all make their way to the temple to pray. Swords are unnecessary, according to Hyakkimaru, and Okawa offers Hyakkimaru food. Dororo informs her that they will go once the swords have been forged. Okawa wants to accompany them, but Hyakkimaru is unwilling to leave. When Hyakkimaru urges him to go, Dororo becomes enraged. The next day, Okawa makes her engagement to Hyakkimaru public. Dororo is happy to learn this. He visits a sword shop. When Dororo inquires as to why he attended a wedding, Okawa responds that nothing is more important for a swordsman than to make a sword. He doesn't want to carry out any bad deeds using his abilities. Forcefully escorting Hyakkimaru to the temple, Okawa tries to strangle Dororo there. He's acting in this way because of a ghoul. Okawa informs the locals that she will not wed Hyakkimaru. Dororo and Hyakkimaru are preparing to embark on the expedition. In Daigo's village as well as other communities, there is a locust attack. Tahamoru and his guards assert that demons are to blame for everything. To save the village, they decide to track down the demon and kill him. To eliminate the demon, Dororo and Hyakkimaru travel to a village. They gather some fruits from trees and devour them. They stumble across a lad named Dai Spot Saburota, while they are eating, who also says he has come to kill the monster. He claims that for the past 6 months, he has been hunting demons because one of them is his mother. They travel to engage in combat with a formidable demon. While Dice is attacking them as well, Hyakkimaru is fighting the demon, saving Dororo. Dice claims he murders people to appease demons. Hyakkimaru and Dororo plunge to their deaths while rescuing each other. Daigo believes that the Hall of Hell has an odd object. Hyakkimaru makes an effort to liberate Dororo, but is unsuccessful since his arm is stuck in a rock. In the meantime, water is falling from the mountain. As Dororo plunges into it, Hyakkimaru injures himself while pulling the rock with his arms. He starts bleeding from his arms and forehead. Hyakkimaru starts to hit his head on a rock because he feels helpless. The priest then arrives, removes the rock, and rescues Dororo from the river. Saburata recalls the incident in which the demon devoured his mother. The demon is slain by Hyakkimaru after another assault. In the Hall of Hell, Tahamoru and his 2 guards notice an odd blue glow emanating from the demon's body. To ask Daigo where his body parts are, Hyakkimaru decides to get there. Some scouts from the Arasaku army can be seen approaching Daigo's territory, as seen by Hyakkimaru and Dororo. Daigo is informed that 2 more communities are affected by the virus. To stop the virus from spreading, he directs the burning of the communities. He is also told that the army of the Arusaka is getting ready to invade their settlement. To protect his territory, Daigo commands Tahamoru to slay Hyakkimaru. Because they despise battle, Tahamoru's guards do not wish to kill anyone. While Tahamoru's mother is concerned about both of his boys, he departs to kill Hyakkimaru. When Dororo and Hyakkimaru learn about the war, Hyakkimaru refuses to go there because he wants his body parts back, but Dororo forbids him. He longs for the ability to interact with objects through touch and feel. Once more, he engages in combat with Tahamoru. Tahamoru's guard is killed in the melee. A man arrives in the interim, and Tahamoru is being guarded by Daigo. Hyakkimaru is separated from Dororo by Tahamoru's troops. They also hurt Tahamoru, since Daigo told them to bring him home alive. Hyakkimaru is attempting to escape while lying in a ditch. Some sort of fire horse then appears. When Daigo's army passes by, Jukai and another guy are discussing the war. Hyakkimaru summons Dororo from out of the ditch. When he learns that they have taken Dororo with them, he becomes enraged. The Asakaru army is attempting to attack their defense, according to Daigo's soldier. Tahamoru guarantees to shield one of his guards, who contracts a fatal illness. Dororo is attempting to escape from custody. When he thinks of Hyakkimaru, Daigo's wife joins him in running away to find him. She also inquires extensively about Hyakkimaru. When Dororo leaves, a few guards arrive, but Daigo's wife hides one of them. The sick guard Mutsu also leaves the palace. When something strikes the boat carrying Dororo and Daigo's wife, They tumble into the water. When Dororo opens his eyes once more, he sees the priest and a horse-headed ghoul there. They initially settled in a community. A child delivers the demon's arrival news. Hyakkimaru arrives, mounted on a ghoul horse. Around his body, there are flames of fire. When Mutsu arrives at the Hall of Hell, she trades the protection of people and property for the demons' bodies. Hyakkimaru claims that Tahomaru's third eye is indeed his. Both engage in vicious combat and attempt to murder others. People living close to the border are anxious and afraid of war. They are all tired of running around trying to stay alive. As they continue to move, Dororo and Daigo's wife are startled to discover Hyakkimaru and Tahomaru fighting. Although the priest forbids it and claims that Hyakkimaru is not in his right mind and doesn't even recognize Dororo, Hyakkimaru tries to stop Dororo. He explains to Dororo and Daigo's wife that one of the 12 demons was unable to consume Hyakkimaru, which is why he is still alive. They are currently attempting to recover what they were unable to consume. The horse ghoul is damaged by Tahomaru's guards as they attack it, but he manages to hack off one of their heads. Hyakkimaru regains both of his hands during the struggle. In the meantime, Jukai comes and stops Hyakkimaru, telling him that his body will be covered in blood if he finds it. The guards' bodies are buried by the priest and Dororo. The priest informs Dororo that until one of them perishes, nothing can be done to stop them. The wife of Daigo laments not shielding her kids. Daigo is informed that Asakura has sent out a new army to assault them, and that Tahomaru and Hyakkimaru are engaged in a ferocious battle. They must march to the east, according to Daigo. In the castle, Tahomaru and Hyakkimaru engage in combat. While the castle is on fire, Dororo prevents Hyakkimaru from becoming a monster. While the priest assists Daigo in rising, his wife stumbles to the ground. Since he was born, raised, and his mother is also his, Tahomaru asserts that he and not Hyakkimaru is the rightful owner of the castle. The wife of Daigo travels to Jukai clandestinely. While fighting, Tahomaru's sword breaks, and he starts to cry. He abruptly transforms into a demon, removes his 2 eyes, and offers Hyakkimaru his pair. Dororo pursues the mother of Daigo. After regaining complete physical control, Hyakkimaru destroys the demon statue. In his mother's lap, he is curled up. He receives a statue of God from Jukai. Tahomaru is told by Daigo's wife that she will never leave him. Hyakkimaru takes Hyakkimaru to the Hall of Hell, where his father threatens to sacrifice him once more. Place the god's statue there, and Hyakkimaru swears to live as a human.